Welcome back. All right, so 3 games tonight in the National Hockey League, and if you cheered for a road team, hey, you had a pretty good night. If you cheered for a home team, well, better luck next time. All right, so just the 3 games. Let's go ahead and start things off. We're going to talk about Buffalo and Columbus. Luukkonen versus Tarasov in this one. Sabres get off to a decent start. They press at a minute and a half. The shots are actually 3 apiece at 3 minutes, so some good chances early in this one. Power play for Buffalo, that's killed off. The Blue Jackets press at 7.5 minutes. They end up drawing themselves a power play. That lasts 12 seconds before it becomes a 4-on-4, so they pull themselves off the power play. Columbus pressed during the 4-on-4, but everything gets killed off there. Skinner's then denied from the slot. The Jackets go back to the power play. They score on this one. It's Voronkov from Goudreau and Provorov at 12:05. Sabres press for a response. There's also a press by Buffalo with 5.5 minutes left. Columbus has a 4-on-2 that misfires, and then from a sharp angle, Girgensons ties the game. Opozo and Clegg with the assists at 16-16. So 1-1 draw. Skinner is then denied on a turnover. The Jackets press in the final minute. Stays 1-1 after 1. Second period, early press by Buffalo. There's a crossbar for Peterka. It's cleared out after that. Shots are 4-1 for Buffalo at 3 minutes. The Blue Jackets press at 4.5 minutes. Sillinger fires one high from the slot. Both teams at this point kind of sloppy. Some overpassing. And that's just confidence, right? Deciding, maybe I could get it, but I'm going to give it to my teammate. A lot of overpassing going on in this one. Skinner's denied as the Sabres press. Power play for Columbus. That's killed off. Shots are 7 apiece with 7.5 minutes left. Krebs is denied. Tarasov holds on there. Sabres press with 5 minutes left. They end up drawing themselves a power play. Columbus kills that off. There's a crossbar for Chinikov on a rush, and with 1:24 left, the Sabres go back to the power play. So that rolls over into the third period. Columbus does finish the kill. Shots are 3-0 for Buffalo at 3 minutes. Krebs has a net drive chance that's held, and then Clifton gets the goal to make it 2-1. He scores from Bryson and Benson at 3:05. Peterka has a rush chance that's held. Werenski's denied as Columbus gets some pressure of their own. Sabres press at 7.5 minutes. Things get pushy on a hold by Luukkonen. Almost said Lehkonen, but Luukkonen. Sillinger has a shot that's blocked on a 3-on-1. The Sabres press with 7 minutes left. Goalie pull happens with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. They had some opportunities, not a lot right at the net. 42.9 seconds left. They call a timeout. There were some icings there by Buffalo as well. Danforth then has a screenshot that's saved. Buffalo holds on. They win 2-1. They go to 26-27-4 with the win. Yeah, they're getting close to 500. For Columbus, 18-28-10. They are not close to 500. Shots on net favored Buffalo the whole way through. 16-11 in the first, 13-8 in the second, 9-8 in the third. Final shots 38-27 for Buffalo. Columbus goes 1 for 3 on the power play. Buffalo 0 for 4. The hits were 10-9 for Buffalo. Not a physical game at all. Luukkonen 26 saves on 27 shots. His numbers have been fantastic over the last 2 months. And Tarasov 36 saves on 38 shots. That's a pretty good start for him. And so we'll see if Elvis starts their next game, or do you just keep Tarasov in the net? Tarasov's been quite good. All right, we'll see what they do. All right, next up, Winnipeg and Chicago. I have no idea why Chicago gives Winnipeg such a tough time, but I'm sure Winnipeg's glad they don't have to play him again this year. So it's Hellebuck versus Mrazek. The early press is by Winnipeg. Iafallo has a 3-on-2 chance. That's kicked aside. Ehlers is denied from the slot. The shots are 3 apiece, 4.5 minutes in. Things get pushy on a hold by Hellebuck. Monahan can't bury one in close. Mrazek holds there. Blackwell's then denied. The Hawks with some pressure briefly. The Jets press, post for Nemesnikov during that. Good forechecking by Winnipeg, but the shots are 10-6 for Chicago with 6 minutes left. Winnipeg would get on the board first, though. On a rush from a sharp angle, Ehlers wires one. DeMello and Morrissey with the assists at 14:47. There's a delayed reaction on that, too, as if like nobody knew it went in. Blackwell then has a net feed. That's picked off. We get a power play for the Jets. That's killed off. Connor has a one-timer. That goes high. It's 1-0 Winnipeg after 1. Second period. Morrissey has a shot that's blocked as the Jets press, and Ehlers would get his second goal of the game from Josh Morrissey at 1:49. That makes it 2-0. The Hawks would press for a response. There's a near miss for Nemesnikov. Donato has a rush chance. That's saved. Scheifele to Velarde. That gets picked off. Jets press at 6.5 minutes. It was really all Jets at that point in the game. Not that they got another goal out of it, but they're getting a lot of pressure, and this is where Mrazek earns his money. Velarde nearly adds one on a rush. 9 minutes into the period, the shots are 9-2 in favor of the Jets. So, yeah, a lot of saves there by Mrazek. Hellebuyck gets shaken up. He was clipped by Radish. We get a power play for the Jets as a result. He just, as he was going by, he caught him in the mask. Hellebuyck shook that off. He did not have to go to the quiet room, which, yeah, they don't do that as often as they did a few years back. There's a shorthanded Dickinson rush that's saved, but he ends up drawing a power play or a penalty to make it 11 seconds of 4-on-4, and then the Hawks go to the power play. That was killed off. No shots for the Hawks. In fact, I thought it was actually counterproductive for Chicago to get that power play. And sometimes a bad power play will just kill your momentum. It felt like that's what happened there. Monahan's denied on a turnover chance. Iafallo has a slot shot. That's caught and held. And then Blackwell buries one on a breakaway from Seth Jones at 15:57. Gets Chicago on the board. It's now 2-1 Winnipeg. Hawks press looking to tie it. Vlasic has a screenshot. That's held. It remains 2-1 after 2. Third period. Hawks press at a minute and a half. Things get pushy on a hold by Hellebuyck. Monahan's denied on a rush, and then there's a near miss for Donato on a rush the other way. Appleton fans on one. It's cleared out. Dickinson very nearly ties it. Still not sure how he didn't get that. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Teams then exchange rushes. Hawks press with 8 minutes left. We get a power play for Chicago. Sandberg has a shorthanded chance. That saved. Power plays killed off one shot. The goalie pull happens with 2 minutes left, and eventually the Jets just couldn't clear it. Chicago ties it. It's Tyler Johnson from Dickinson and Jones at 19:17. So Seth Jones with a couple of helpers tonight. We're going to overtime. The Hawks controlled it early, but the Jets would steal, go end-to-end, and Connor wires it. Morrissey with the assist on that one, so Morrissey with 3 helpers. And at 25 seconds of overtime, the Winnipeg Jets avoid the dreaded trap. They win 3-2. They go to 35-15-5 on the season. Chicago 15-39-4 with the overtime loss. Shots on net, 11-8 Chicago in the first, 15-10 Winnipeg in the second, 14-7 Chicago in the third. Winnipeg had the only shot of overtime. That's all they needed. Final shots 35-31 for Chicago. Power plays, both teams 0 for 2. The hits 15-13 Chicago. Hellebuyck saves 33 out of 35. Mrazek saved 28 out of 31. So, yeah, I mean, pretty good game. And Yvonne was in here, sitting here watching it. One of the few times where Yvonne's actually able to sit in here and watch a game because I'm not switching channels between 5 or 6 games. It was just 2 games on at the same time. All right, and the other game we were flipping back and forth to at that point was Minnesota and Edmonton. And this is one of those games where Edmonton really played quite well, but Gustafsson said no. So it's Gustafsson versus Pickard. Early jump for Edmonton. The Wild press at 2.5 minutes. McDavid fires one wide on a rush. The Oilers press at 4.5 minutes. Janmark's denied. Gustafsson holds. The Wild score, but it's offside. You could see as soon as they showed the replay, yeah, that's offside. It wasn't really close. Near miss then for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Puck's cleared out after that. The shots are 5-3 for the Oilers at 8.5 minutes. The Wild press at the half. We get a power play from Minnesota. That's killed off. Things get pushy on a hold by Pickard. And then Boldy. He scores from Middleton and Eriksson Ek at 19:37. He wires that one from the slot on a rush. So very quiet first period, I thought, which is very much Minnesota hockey. Second period, things get a little noisier, which is more of Edmonton hockey. We have an early power play from Minnesota. There was a crossbar for Freddie Gaudreau. That's killed off. Kaprizov can't bury one in close. 4.5 minutes in. The shots are only 2-1 from Minnesota. Fogel's denied. Gustafsson holds. We get a press by the Wild at 5.5 minutes. That draws a power play. And the Oilers killed that one off. Really solid PK by the Oilers there. Their penalty kill came into tonight having some trouble. They'd only killed 11 of their last 22. Tonight it gets a little better. And then we get a power play for Edmonton, and they score on it. It's Draisaitl from McDavid and Nugent-Hopkins at 10:27. He buries that one on a good cycle. It was a one-timer for him. Oilers then look for the lead. Zuccarello misses one high from the slot. The Wild press with 7 minutes left. They end up getting a power play. The Oilers didn't let him set up. That was like Flyers level power play. That's killed off. Don't worry, there's no Flyer fans watching this. They didn't play. There's a press by the Oilers with 4 minutes left. The Oilers press again in the final minute. And if Flyer fans are watching, they'll be like, it's brutal, but accurate. So yeah, it's 1-1 after 2, third period. Early press by Edmonton. The shots are 5-0 for the Oilers at 3.5 minutes. Again, Gustafsson just dictated the game. Janmark has a one-timer that's saved. Gustafsson's keeping it 1-1 at this point. Kaprizov has a net drive that's blocked. It doesn't get close. The Oilers press at 8 minutes, but during a brief press by Minnesota, they didn't have a lot of time, but they made it work. Brodin scores from Chisholm and Kaprizov at 9:31. Totally against the flow of play. It's 2-1 for Minnesota. The Oilers press for a response. There's a near miss for Hyman, and the Wild get pinned down. And then, on a rush, the Wild score. It's Boldy this time from Hartman and Johansson at 12:18. The Oilers then draw a power play with 6:54 left. There's a blocker save on McDavid. The puck gets cycled, and then Hyman buries one in close. Draisaitl and McDavid with the assists at 14:51. The DJ then played Deutschland by Rammstein. I do put that on the board. Edmonton's the one place where that song gets played. I will say Chicago's DJ plays a lot of fun music. In a day and age where everybody plays the same songs in most of the buildings, when the DJs don't, it really stands out. All right, now, goalie pull happens with 2:05 left. Edmonton's all over Minnesota, but Zuccarello from his own zone hits the empty net at 18:33, and it really took the air out of the building, and it makes the score 4-2. That is your final for the Minnesota Wild. They go to 27-24-6 with the win. Edmonton 33-19-2 with the loss. Shots on net 7-6 Minnesota in the first, 13-6 for Edmonton in the second, 24-6 Edmonton in the third. Final shots 43-19 for the Oilers. Power plays Minnesota 0 for 4, Edmonton 2 for 2. Hits 27-26 for Minnesota. Gustafsson saved 41 out of 43. Pickard, 15 saves on 18 shots. So it was the Gustafsson show tonight in Edmonton. Not the kind of show that Oiler fans wanted. Tomorrow night, though, the Oilers are in the Battle of Alberta. Minnesota, on the other hand, now heads to Seattle for a matchup tomorrow. So let me know your thoughts regarding these games in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event that you have not hit those buttons so far. I understand, but go ahead and do that. All right, thank you guys so much for all your support as always. Tomorrow's a very busy, long day. Looking forward to that. But from now until then, thank you guys for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.